Hello, guys. Adam here from Switch Indie Fix, and I am bringing you episode 11 of the Switch Indie Fix podcast. Today is the 29th of September, I think. It's a nice Saturday morning here in Vienna, a very nice autumn morning. The wind's blowing, but it's nice and sunny. And today, yet again, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Age of Boredom. Hello, Stevie.
How's it going, man?
Yeah, it's good. Like I say, we've had a bit of a stressful morning. For once, not because of technical reasons, for me, more personal reasons. But yeah, we're here now. We are ready to go. I'm excited again for this episode. I thought last week's episode went really well. Just a reminder, we're live streaming on Instagram. So if you have Instagram, make sure you follow at Switch Indie Fix and at Age of Boredom. And yeah, next week you can join in the chat. Come say hello. That would be cool. So let's start with the housekeeping. And I'm just looking at my notes. And I do have the right notes. Good. So a new update for the website is I've decided, with the help of some of the people from the community, that I'm going to start putting my reviews up on Thursdays. This is because, as Darth Stridius in Discord pointed out, it's the day eShop games are released. So maybe more people are looking for games to come out. They're searching for reviews on a Thursday. So reviews are going to start going out on Thursdays from now on, because I was originally putting them out on Saturdays. But now, because I'm trying to make the podcast as regular as possible, I don't want the weekend to be overtaken by just the podcast. And the reviews kind of get drowned out by that. So reviews will be going out on Thursday. Next week's review, or next Thursday's review, will be of Hyper Light Drifter. It's a really awesome game, and I'm really pleased with the review. So make sure you look out for that. And that is all there is this week. There's no gaming chats or anything. So yeah, just a reminder, reviews go out on a Thursday. And remember that the Switch Indie Fix podcast is brought to you by the Switch Indie Fix Discord server. If you love playing and talking about indie games on your Switch, then Discord is the place to be. Just go to switchindiefix.com/Discord to join. We had a few new members added this week, which was really cool. So it's nice to see that people are starting to trickle in from the podcast. A few of them came over from your channels, Stevie. So thank you for that. And they seem like really cool people. I believe Chris and Billy from Twitter. And Billy, today, as an apology from our comments about Zelda last week, I have a Zelda t-shirt on for you. So yeah, make sure you check out the YouTube video for that, Billy.
You can't see my Street Fighter t-shirt. You can kind of see. Maybe I'll start to stand up. There we go.
Yeah. So for the audio listeners, Stevie has what's he called? Ryu. You know, the bonus section at the end of the level where he's like beating up the car for bonus points. That's on his t-shirt. And my t-shirt is the Legend of Zelda loot crate one, where like Zelda's made out of the landscape from the original Legend of Zelda game. So yeah, that's for you, Billy. So I guess we should just get on with the news. And this week there are 7 items on the list, which is half a baker's dozen. And I've put this one in for you, Stevie. I thought you'd enjoy it. Number 1, Nintendo's clone Little Friends, Cats and Dogs get announced for the Nintendo Switch.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I know this is going to be a big hit on your channel. So yeah, everyone keep an eye out for that. So this comes from Nintendo Life and writer Ryan Craddock. It says Little Friends, Dogs and Cats has been announced in this week's issue of Fatsuma magazine, which is like a gaming magazine over in Japan. Coming from Japanese company Imagineer, this new title will also allow players to have fun with their favorite pets, presumably following in the footsteps of Nintendo's 3DS hit Nintendogs and Cats, which introduced a lovely selection of cuddly kittens into the mix. So back to me, Nintendo has yet to announce anything new from this franchise for the Switch. So it looks like Imagineer trying to kind of fill a gap in the market, which I guess is cool if they want to get, if for the younger audience on the Switch, younger kids. Stevie, do you have any experience with Nintendogs at all? Did you ever play it or have like a family member that played it as when you were younger?
No, but I did actually have. Can you remember? Like this is like really dating me. In the mid-90s on the PC, there's a thing called just dogs, and there's also
dogs,
cats.
No, the only one I think of on the PC is The Sims Pets.
Oh yeah, this was maybe 5, 6, 7 years before that, and it was kind of like you just had a dog on your desktop and then you played with it.
And like, I know what you mean. Like,
you could teach it to do tricks and stuff. So I'm like, I never actually really paid too much attention to Nintendogs because
Yeah.
I was kind of like in my early 20s at that point, and I was like, this is probably not aimed at me.
So it's probably passed you by, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think when the first one came out, I don't know, I was probably in my teens, but my cousin, she's 4 or 5 years younger than me, and I remember she had it, and she got the original DS, and like just that game, and I remember it being like kind of thinking it was kind of like the modern age Tamagotchi, like you have to like feed your pet and look after it, and play with it and stroke it and stuff. And I remember back then she really loved it because she was kind of at that age where she wanted a pet, but she was kind of too young to have responsibility for it. So I remember that was a big thing for her. And I think, I guess Nintendo, like I said, they haven't really announced anything for the game, for the franchise yet, for the Switch. So maybe this kind of clone will do quite well on the Switch.
It's quite interesting that like Nintendo kind of don't release some of their IPs for a while, and then like these indies like step in. Like, I mean, I'm assuming this probably won't be as successful as Stardew Valley, but it's kind of interesting that like they have these really popular like IPs. I mean, maybe core gamers aren't going to be like, yes, we need to get Nintendogs, but like they must have sold tons.
But that's it. I think as I was kind of telling you, I've actually been looking at buying DSs on eBay, and like the problem is the DSs, most of them, the DS Lites are all bright pink, and they all come bundled with like Nintendogs and brain training and stuff, because I think those games were really for like a casual kid audience. And like we kind of talked about last week with Nintendo and Nintendo Online, Nintendo seemed to want to have not just every household owning a Switch, but every person in the household owning a Switch. So I guess, Imagineer, they see a market. They know if they make a decent game, they can probably make a lot of money off it before Nintendo gets in with Nintendogs. And why not? Why not? I guess the game maybe as well, if it's focused towards a more Japanese market, maybe those games still do really successful there. So I think it's a good idea. I like it when indie devs kind of try and step in and fill a gap. It's like, do you know Temtem, which is supposed to be, it's like a kind of like a Pokemon clone?
Oh yeah, that was the Kickstarter, right?
Yeah, I think I can't remember the dev's name, but they're the same devs that made Immortal Redneck.
Oh, I love that game.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I was excited, because I saw your Let's Play of it, and really enjoyed it. And they basically are making a clone of Nintendo, of Pokemon, but it's like kind of like an MMO sort of. You can see other players in the world, you can team up with players, you can battle against them, but they're making like their own, original characters and monsters and stuff in a story. So I was like, when I saw that Kickstarter, I was like, I'm definitely gonna back it. So it's a good thing, I think, when indies step in and take the place of bigger titles that aren't there. And in the case of Stardew Valley, I think they do them, the better. It was based on Harvest Moon, and arguably it's like the best Harvest Moon there is. There isn't in the Harvest Moon franchise. So it's good.
I'm just waiting for that brain training. I actually legitimately really enjoyed brain training. Like I remember. Yeah, just like 10 minutes a day, just kind of helping yourself not feel stupid, which is quite nice.
Yeah, there was such a weird phase, I think, in gaming when it was like the DS and the Wii, where you had like, you do your brain training 10 minutes a day, you do your Wii Fit board 10 minutes a day, and like, I guess Nintendo were really trying to like get people active, kind of, in gaming, which I guess now you kind of see in Pokemon Go, where you have to kind of walk around, and if you want to hatch eggs, you have to walk like 10 kilometers to hatch an egg and stuff like that. And it's definitely a different way of thinking than Sony and Microsoft.
I think it actually was a really good kind of strategy, because I mean, how many people would have bought a Switch or a DS for those games and then went, I'll buy Professor Layton as well, or I'll pick up Mario just because like everyone remembers Mario from being a kid. I know
Mario, it's definitely like a good way to get people in the door. Like I guess they try and make the DSs as cheap as possible, and then they bring all these like accessible games to them, and maybe that's how a lot of people started off with like Mario on the Mario 64 and like the old school Zeldas. It's like, yeah, kind of marketing as like a kids game, but make them challenging enough for adults to play them, and maybe like a parent buys it for their kid, the kid plays it, and then for the rest of their life they're like a Nintendo gamer, and they have this like Nintendo nostalgia, which is exactly why I wanted to buy a DS, because I was like, there's these games that we don't have a virtual console yet, we don't have a lot of these games that I feel like I missed. So I'm like, yeah, I can buy a DS for 20 quid. I can buy these games now for like £5 each. Like, yeah, okay, I'll spend 60 pounds instead of getting the new Assassin's Creed. It's like, yeah, I have these like 100-hour-long games like Dragon Quest and Pokemon, and what else did I buy? Mario and Luigi's Bowser's Inside Story, and I'm like, yeah, I got it all for the price of a AAA game, and I'm sure I'm gonna have hours and hours of fun because I want that nostalgia of like having a little handheld. And even though we have the Switch, I'm sometimes cautious about taking it out with me all the time. I'm like, yeah, the DS, I can just fold it up, put it in my pocket, and it's good to go.
Yeah, I don't like playing my my Switch on the bus. Like train, I feel kind of more okay with, oddly.
Yeah.
But the bus, I kind of feel a bit like.
Yeah, it's a bit riskier.
Maybe that's just like a London thing.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, the thing with me on the, like, I don't know, the bus, I always feel like you're getting on and off. People are getting on and off, and the train, I'm sat on there, at least for me, for like 30 minutes a day, or at least an hour. Sorry, 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back. So it's like I got like a good period to sit down, play a little bit, and then go to work, and then after work do the same. But yeah, the bus, I'm like, yeah, I'm on for like 10 minutes, and then I jump off or that. But the real problem with mine, and what puts me off playing in handheld modes now, is my left Joy-Con is just, it's like sticky.
Oh, you got the drift.
So yeah, so it's like, I'm trying to play a game, and all of a sudden my character just starts running to the top of the screen, and you really have to, like, it's almost like changing gear in a car. I've got to be like to get it to come back down, and it seems to know when I'm in like high stress situation. So it'd be like I'm playing Paladins or Fortnite, and I'm in like a battle, and all of a sudden my character just starts running forward. I'm like, no, what are you doing? Or like hiding behind a fence, and all of a sudden it just stands up and starts walking towards the enemy. I'm like, thanks, Nintendo.
Awesome.
But yeah, I think we spoke about it before. I'm a little bit worried to send it to Nintendo because I don't want my save files getting deleted. But now we have the cloud data backup. It's maybe not as risky as it once was.
I'd like to talk about that later in the episode.
Okay, cool, good,
cool.
So let's move on with the news. And I just realized actually we have 8 items this week, not 7. I missed one. I usually highlight the titles, and one title I forgot to highlight. So, which is this story. So, Mark of the Ninja Remastered gets a release date. So, extremely popular and renowned stealth game Mark of the Ninja will get its Switch release very soon on October 9th. The remaster will include a new story level, a new character, additional items, a new game plus mode, and a developer commentary. The game will cost $19.99 on the Nintendo eShop. Have you ever played Mark of the Ninja?
No, I haven't.
No, like I know the name as like it's, I think it was like a big PS3 game, or at least from that era. And yeah, it's like really well known for its stealth mechanics, and like on Steam, I was looking it up. It's like, I think it's got like a 9.2 rating on Steam. So I think for people who love that genre, the stealth genre, like it's kind of like a really big name. And that's why I put it on the news, because I recognize the name, I recognize the screenshots, and like the game looks really beautiful on the Switch. Like the kind of contrast between light and dark, because a lot of it is you're playing as a ninja hiding in the shadows, but there's like a lot of bright colors in there too, which looks really awesome. So that's why I put it on the list.
Actually, now that I said that, I'm thinking, is it in my Steam library?
Yeah, it could be. It might be one you picked up on a sale, and
yeah, it could be like a humble bundle kind of thing.
Yeah, probably. Like I say, I think it's been around a while. Like for some reason, the PS3 kind of like bells are ringing in my head, like Mark of Ninja PS3, but I might be wrong. I guess people will let us know in the comments or over on Twitter if we are wrong. So
I own Mark of the Ninja.
Oh, you do own Mark of the Ninja. Okay.
I think maybe I might have picked it up in a humble bundle when I didn't have a PC.
Ah, okay.
So bought,
right, yeah.
so like got the deal because there were some Mac games in there, or games that were on both PC and Mac, and I
Both,
was
yeah.
like, oh, okay, I want those games. And then
Yeah, and
this
these
came
other
over,
ones are
so
just like a
yeah.
yeah.
So
Oh, okay.
maybe I'll give it a go, and then
Yeah,
if I
now you've got
like
your
it,
PC, you can, yeah, pick it
yeah,
up. $19.99, and it comes like 2 weeks from now, so a week on Thursday from when we're recording. So story number 3 is Divinity Original Sins 2 could be coming to the Switch. So in an interview posted on shacknews.com, one of Divinity's developers from Larian Studios shared that the company, and this is in quotations, has plans for the Nintendo Switch, but they have plans for a lot of things. So a lot of people kind of on Twitter kind of acted as if this was a confirmation that the game is coming to the Switch. But when I listened to the interview, and the guy was like, yeah, of course we have plans for the Switch. We're looking into it. But like he said, we have plans for a lot of other things. So it could be, they're looking into whether the tech will work on the Switch. But it might not. So it might not be coming. So yeah, but like hopefully that means something will come of the announcement. Divinity Original Sins 2 has been a huge success on Steam and PC, often touted as one of the best RPGs ever. The game has already had a release on PS4 and Xbox, so hopefully we will see a Switch release in the coming months or the coming years. I kind of saw this and I thought this would be like a great co-op Let's Play to play. Like I think it's a very long game. Like it's a very traditional kind of what's the word? Not top down, but kind of you're looking down, kind of like Diablo style.
Isometric.
Isometric, that's the word. Yeah, RPG, and it's one of these ones where I think, you can go and you have quest givers, but you can kill the quest givers, and that'll have an effect on obviously the rest of the story and how will people act to you in the world, and it's very like stat heavy.
Did you play the first one?
No, I've not played the first. I watched some YouTubers play it a while ago, and the second one when it came out, I watched a series and thought it looked really cool. But I was like, yeah, it's maybe a bit too like RPG for me, But if it's on the Switch and
you can
other
pick
people
up,
are playing, you can pick it up and play it. Yeah.
Did you ever play Baldur's Gate?
No, but like again, I've watched a few Let's Plays of it. The only one I did play was the one that was on GameCube, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, I think it was called.
Oh yeah. Oh,
which I guess maybe was a spin-off of the main series. But I remember playing that and like thinking it was really hard when I was a kid and being like, oh yeah,
I was really into Baldur's Gate 2. Well, 1 and 2. I put like a whole bunch of hours. That was like when PC games would just run on a standard PC. Like you didn't need anything special. So I played a lot of Baldur's Gate 2 when I was at college. And
nice.
I like when I was like at school, there used to be like an after school kind of D&D club, so I used to go to that. So I was quite into like D&D and like pen and paper, like role playing. Actually, I've got like some D&D books up on the shelf behind me, which audio listeners won't be able to see. But
well, they do look very nice on the shelf behind you.
Well, no one can actually see them because they're so blurred out because they're in the background. That
it's like you could be lying. They could be just like any old book, like Harry Potter series is up there, but no, the D&D books. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely D&D, not Harry Potter. Harry Potter over this way.
I was going to say there's nothing wrong with Harry Potter. I'm sure I've got some on my bookshelf actually.
But no, like I was super into that kind of thing, and then like Baldur's Gate is literally the computer game version of like the D&D rule set, so I was like super into that, and like my friends had their own like save files of it, so like we all like together put in like hundreds of hours, and we'd kind of not like in the room co-op, I guess, or like like backseat gamer kind of play each other's kind of characters and be like, oh, you should do this, or like go here and like that. So like I played it so much, and then I played the first Original Sin on my Mac when it came out on Mac, and I really enjoyed it. It was just that like I think it was kind of like a time where I had like loads of stuff going on. Yeah. So I didn't have kind of
it's a
time.
Game you have to devote like so much time to it, and like I say, from what I've been reading and what I remember watching on YouTube, like I guess you kind of really get like into the story, and it becomes really like your story. So you want to make it as like unique to you as possible, I guess. And there's so many NPCs to talk to and like quests, and yeah, it's like a kind of like, I guess, having like almost like a job, like trying to finish it. But I know there are people that really love that kind of RPG feel of like where you are totally lost in the world and you totally are like, this is your character and this is how you would play. Like, because for me, usually I like in games, I like someone to tell me, okay, this is the character and this is his story. And I know some people are like, oh, well, this is me, this is my character and this is my story. So yeah, so I'm usually like drawn towards the more like someone else telling you a story than me making a story. But like, yeah, I love like RPGs, like obviously like Skyrim and Fallout and things like that. But yeah, I definitely love to check it out on the Switch if it does come.
Yeah, I think
like I say,
because like it's mouse and keyboard, right? Yeah, the first one was pretty mouse and keyboard. I think if it works really well touchscreen, then
yeah, touchscreen could work.
That's me in, because then this will be like my lunch break game for forever.
Yeah, well, I put on here the PS4 and Xbox release because I think if I just Google it, I think they got like a really good they got a really good score on Metacritic on PS2. PS4, Original Sins 2. Yeah, they because I think they've really made the controller work really well. So that's what kind of also got me quite excited about the Switch. Like if they get it to work on the controls to work on Xbox and PS4, then maybe they can get it to work on the what's it called? The Switch. Okay, I can't find it. I just go with the computer one. But yeah, I kind of remember reading that it got really good reviews on there too. So number 4, news story number 4. Sorry, my headphone cable keeps like strangling me.
Don't die.
Yeah. Cute one-button platformer Jack and Jill DX comes to the Nintendo Switch. So announced on Sunday the 23rd of September and releasing 5 days later on the 28th. Jack and Jill DX is a cute old school black and white one-button platformer developed by Ratalaika Games, who brought Explosion to the Switch. And it's developed by them, yeah. So this is, again, from Ryan Craddock at NintendoLife.com. As he explains, in Jack and Jill DX, players must assume the role of Jack, overcoming hazards and your usual platformer pitfalls in a bid to reach Jill. The problem is that Jill is a whopping 140 levels away. How inconsiderate. And you'll need to run and jump your way to her in style. If you're sick of the hero saving the princess, though, then why not change the roles around? The developers, I can't say their names, tells us that Jill is also available as a playable character. So go ahead and break those stereotypes. I put this in because I really like the platform. The art style. Like I said, it's black and white. It kind of looks like hand-drawn cartoons. Kind of reminds me of, like the original Kirby on the GBA, where everyone's kind of round with big eyes, and it's kind of almost like, I guess like kind of like Mario Run, where you have to press to jump and it gets quicker and quicker. And I also put it in because I actually requested a review code for the game from the developers, and there might be a possibility that I get an extra code to give away. So keep an eye out on Twitter. There might be a giveaway happening in the next couple of days. So if you want a chance to win Jack and Jill DX, make sure you go over to Twitter at SwitchIndieFix, and I will be doing a contest on there. And then just for those who like to know, the game is going to cost $4.99 on the eShop.
Nice. It sounds a little bit like Super One More Jump, which was...
Yeah, I think it does. But that was by, what's they called? The guys that made Death Squared.
Yeah, the Aussie guys. Oh, I can't think. I can see their logo in my head.
I always get them mixed up because they're SMG games or something.
I was like Sidebar, and I was like, it's not Sidebar.
Yeah, no, they do. I always get SMG and FDG mixed up. FDG make Blossom Tales or publish Blossom Tales.
SMG Australian, and so Sidebar, and they're both given S.
Sidebar,
so in my mind, all Australians are the same people.
Yeah.
I don't really believe that.
No,
just to the Australians, I'm sorry.
Actually, I don't know if we have any Australian listeners. I'll have to check that out.
Well, you'll know because they'll start tweeting like angry things.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. So like, I just put it on because I like the look of the game. I hear it's getting a lot of kind of like press in the PlayStation circles because it has a very easy platinum. I think on the PlayStation you can get it for it's like a PS4 and Vita cross buy, and it has like a 10-minute platinum, which kind of seems a bit strange to me because it says it has 140 levels. So I don't know how you can get a platinum in 10 minutes, but that's kind of what I've been hearing on fans of the kind of funny people. Like they were talking about on the Games Daily the other day. So yeah, that might be one to check out if you're a Vita, if you play the Vita, because it's a very easy platinum apparently. So number 5, it's less of a news story, but I just thought it was very interesting. So the title is A Hat in Time developer talks about why a no for Switch is now a yes. So in an interview with Nintendo Everything's Eric Zauch, the Gears for Breakfast developer Jonas Karlev, sorry, I totally messed that up. In an interview with Nintendo Everything's Eric Zauch and Gears for Breakfast Nintelis Karlev, Zauch asked, Gears for Breakfast previously said that A Hat in Time wouldn't be released on the Switch. What changed over the past few months to make it possible after all? In which Karlev replies, so here's, it's kind of like a long quote. Like I say, it's taken from an interview. So, and it's transcribed. So there might be like some weird kind of linguistics in there. So it's like 50% is me messing up. 50% is because it's transcribed from an interview. So it says the Switch appeared kind of mid-development of A Hat in Time, right? At that time, it was kind of too late because you have to design the entire game to fit the platform. If you don't design around it, you're going to have performance problems and other issues as well. After we shipped A Hat in Time on consoles, we were looking at the Switch and we were seeing, we tried this before and it's an immense amount of work because it's an entirely new piece of hardware. The tools are all new. There's nothing carried over from the Wii U. The engine we're using doesn't support it at all, period. The engine we're using is Unreal Engine 3. At that time, we had dropped all hope. We were looking at it and we had so many issues and it was just way out of our expertise. Then we were approached by Humble, who published the Xbox One and PlayStation versions of A Hat in Time. And they said, okay, we might have found some developers who might be able to assist you in this. We had very low hopes for it just because we knew how big of a task it is. These developers gave us such an immense help that we would never have anticipated before. We got some assistance from developers who were more expertise than us, and they were able to assist us with getting it up and running on the Switch. So I realize now we look quite the fool that we said no, and now it's a yes. I think that's also just ties into us evolving as developers. So yeah, I put this in. I guess it's kind of interesting to see why they made a U-turn, and that it wasn't that they were like. I think a lot of people thought maybe they were snubbing the Switch. Like, nah, we're not going to put a game out on the Switch. But it looks like it was obviously down to technology that they couldn't get the older Unreal Engine 3 running on the Switch, which I think is very well optimized for like Unity and Unreal Engine 4. But yeah, I don't really know that much about how the engines work, but it looks like the older tech they were using wouldn't work out as well as they'd hoped on the Switch. So yeah, I just think it's an interesting story. But
it kind of reads like, oh, we didn't really want to do it because it seemed like a lot of hard work.
A lot of work.
And then our publisher was like, you're an idiot if you don't do this because you can make a ton of money. And then they were like, oh, yeah, we can just outsource. We forgot about outsourcing. Yeah, well,
it kind of, if you read you should read the entire interview. It was quite interesting. That they talk about how, originally they expected or they hoped that they would they would sell 9,000 copies of the game. And they were like, yeah, with 9,000 copies, we can basically cover our costs and have enough over to start the next project. Like maybe we'll have to do a Kickstarter, but we will have enough to keep the company going. And they ended up selling, I think, just on Steam, they sold over 500,000 copies. So you're kind of thinking, okay, they must have like some money, a decent amount of money, and then they have Humble publishing the games on Xbox and PlayStation. So yeah, like you say, it kind of reads of, yeah, we don't want to put the effort in. Maybe they wanted to just start with the Hat in Time 2 and like, okay, we'll build it in the newer engine. We'll specifically make it so that it can run on the Switch. But yeah, I think you're right. I think especially now, like there was there's enough time now between I think Mario Odyssey that people are craving like another 3D platformer, and with no virtual console, there's no option yet to play Mario 64 or Mario Sunshine on the Switch, and this is like Hat in Time is like a throwback to those games. So yeah, I think Humble, you're probably right. They've come along with like a stick and prodded them and be like, hey, we can make a lot of money doing this, and we have someone. They didn't in the article. They didn't specify which developers helped them. Like maybe it was Epic. They make the Unreal Engine. Maybe they've come in and maybe helped out in some way. Because the guy was very shady about who it was. So yeah, maybe it was Epic.
It's not Panic Button because they announce everything super like loud and like, hey everyone, we're like developing this thing that no one else has actually told you about yet, but we're doing it. Oh wait, we probably should have waited.
yeah, that's it. I guess it's better to say no. And then actually be like, okay, actually we are doing it. Then to be like, yeah, the game's coming. And then to be like, oh, well, sorry, we can't bring you the game because our technology just isn't up to snuff, or the Switch is too difficult to develop on for this game.
Steep.
But no, I think it's, steep. Yeah, exactly. It was announced before the Switch came out. It was going to be a launch game. And, nearly 2 years later, it's not coming anymore.
I think
fair enough. I
think Hat in Time would like make so much money because like you said, like there's no, well, it's been a year since Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
You got Ukulele, which kind of people are on the fence about, like, oh, it's too much like finding stuff.
Yeah, it's too much like a collectathon. Yeah.
And then you have that one where you're a box or something, like Boxy or something like that. It's like a platformer where you're like a box and you're like trying to deliver yourself. I
don't know that one.
Yeah, and there's like one more, I think, which came out pretty much the same week as Mario, and everyone was just like, "You're bonkers." And that's, I think that's it. I don't think there's any other like. No,
like I say, like I can't think of any. Like I guess maybe Class. There's like Crash Bandicoot now.
Oh yeah,
and maybe in the future we'll get Spyro. I hope anyway. But yeah, there isn't, and I think like you said, not Banjo-Kazooie, Ukulele. A lot of, I think the Switch has like the best version of it, other than like the best console version, but I think it was priced so high that it kind of put people off, like really off it. Like I think it's €40 or $40. So I think if they come out with a Hat in Time and they price it between like 15 and 20. Market it as like, oh yeah, you love Mario, but you can't play Mario, so why not play this game? Maybe if they could get some, because obviously it's based on hats, if they could get some like Mario, Cappy in there, or some kind of Nintendo tie-in, like I think it would do really well on the Switch. And
the raining money, like money for everyone.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the future. They have no news on a release date. I think they haven't given a release date yet. They just said that it was coming, but yeah, we'll see what happens in the future.
I'm excited. So, I definitely would jump in. Like I've been tempted to get it on the PC, but I was just like, well, it might come to Switch. Yeah. Like I feel like they'll be like ridiculous not to. So I've been kind of holding back, and unless it comes on like Twitch for free or something like that, then we'll just wait for Switch.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I wanted to shout that out as well. Is that I think as we're recording, I think it's the end of this month. Adventure Pals is free on Twitch Prime at the minute for Windows and I think maybe it's just Windows. I don't know if it's Steam, but yeah, that's another great platforming game. A 2D platformer. So if you want to get that for free, you should go check out Twitch Prime for that. So.
I did actually notice it was in my library on Twitch. I was like, oh,
yeah, I picked it up. There was that one, and is it called Knights of Pen and Paper?
Oh, is that? Oh, I had that on my iPad. Like when I first got an iPad, like 8 years ago.
Maybe I'm thinking of. I think it was on there, and I think there's like another like. I can't remember the name now, but it's like looks like someone's hand drawn, like scribbled, and it's like a kind of like turn-based RPG. I can't remember the name of it.
Knights and Pen and Paper is like a pixel art style.
Yeah, I think I might be getting them mixed up.
That should be on the Switch. Like, why is that not on the Switch?
I think it's coming. I think it might be actually. I think it might be on the Switch.
Right, I'm gonna Google.
Because I remember writing like a news back in the day when I used to do like news daily on the site. I sure I remember the writing either that it was announced or that it was released.
Oh my god! All right, okay. So I just googled it, and Switch Watch did a review of it on the 29th of May. So
yeah, but I just kind of actually we'll talk about this a bit later because this kind of ties into one of the questions about accessibility for indie games on the Switch. So maybe we'll talk about this, like pause it and talk about it later. So let's get on with the news. Number 5 is Dokuro gets a surprise release on Switch. So this comes from Brian at Nintendo Everything. Dokuro is the latest game to have received a surprise release on Switch. It's currently live in Australia and should be out in other regions by tomorrow at the latest. Dokuro, which has not been previously announced for the Switch, is a chalk art puzzler in which players need to save a princess from the Dark Lord who wants to marry her. Sounds a little bit like a very famous Nintendo first-party game.
Mm-hmm.
Though it came out on other platforms previously, the Switch version has added a difficulty selection and a developer's documentation, which I guess is maybe like concept art and maybe some developer interviews or whatever. So here's a synopsis of the game. Arise, lowly skeleton, and rescue the princess from the Dark Lord's castle. Developer's documentation and difficulty selection has been added. You are a nameless skeleton in the Dark Lord's army. The princess was abducted to become the dreaded Dark Lord's wife. After a chance encounter, you set her free. Guide the princess from the shadows in skeleton form, switching to hero form when it's time to mount a gallant offensive. For some reason, I put absolutely loads about this game in. I don't know why I put so much, but I'm going to skip a little bit forward because I kind of wanted to talk about like these surprise shadow releases on the Switch, and I think the first big one was like Outlast 2.
Oh yeah, like, Outlast, and then
Oh, was it Outlast? Maybe remaster or whatever it was.
And then the second one came out like 2 weeks later or something. Okay. It was pretty quick though.
That makes sense. But it was like I think the first game to just turn up on the eShop without anyone noticing, and I think then it did like it caused like a huge media stir and got a lot of like press for the game. And I think it was like a really cool marketing tool to be like, okay, we're just gonna bring it out on the Switch. But I kind of wrote here, like, I think it's cool when games are shadow released on the Switch. However, with so many indies being on the Switch, I think this type of marketing may not be the best way to go if you're a smaller indie. Like this game, like I kind of noticed it on Nintendo Everything because of the art style. But kind of reading through it, I was like, there's nothing really that makes me excited that it was like released without anyone knowing. And then another example I got was that Gone Home was released on the Switch a few weeks ago. It's just like announced on Twitter. It's available today. And I really feel like I've not heard anything since about it. Like I don't feel like I've seen any reviews of the game. Like there was just the one tweet from the developer, like, here it is on the Switch, go get it today. And yeah, I just feel like now, because there is so much coming out on the eShop every Thursday, like to be like, okay, well, we're not drumming up any marketing at all for our game might now be like a bad thing.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think Outlast it works like quite well because of two things, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, that game's all about like jumps and just surprises. So like the game was just like a surprise. So I guess if you're gonna look at it like in a meta way or something, like, oh wow, like surprise kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I guess it's a nice surprise rather than like someone trying to kill you.
Yeah.
And then like the second reason my brain just stopped working because it's Saturday morning. I did have a second one. It's a much bigger game. Like people, and it's a word of mouth game, right? Because it's like it was like a big YouTube or Twitch thing, like
kind of
It's like the Friday Night at Freddy's, like a kind of everyone's like, oh my god, did you see X YouTuber play like Y scary
Outlast
game?
Yeah.
And like, so then people are like, oh yeah, I saw like Markiplier or like whoever kind of play that game. I want to play that game.
Play it as well, yeah. Yeah, I think that's, and like I say, I think it was the first one to do it on the Switch at the time. And it was like really at a time where, I don't know, there was enough games on the Switch to like make it manageable, to know everything that was coming out on the eShop, and then to be like, oh my god, like Outlast, like this huge kind of horror indie title was coming, and then like you said, a few weeks later the second game's coming as well. It was really like at that time where I think we were starting to see all the ports come over of indie games, because the Switch was picking up steam. It was selling a lot of copies. Indie games were doing really well on it. Like the first adopters, like like Golf Story and like SteamWorld Dig and things like that. I think they were selling really well on the Switch, so people were seeing it. But now I kind of am like, yeah, there's even for Gone Home, which is like a great game that I've played, and I think it's like a great game to review because it's short, so you can play it in one sitting and get a good review out of it. But yeah, I've just not seen anything really since the initial announcement about Gone Home, and it kind of makes me think, well, maybe now, because the Switch and the eShop is so full of games, it's not the best idea to just release one and not tell anyone about it.
Yeah, I think if you were like a big studio, like say if Panic Button did it or something, and then we're like, surprise Warframe, you'd be like, oh my god, like, okay, Panic Button make all these great games, and they're like, I guess, like really in the zeitgeist of Switch right now, right? Like, even though they don't make their own original games, everyone like really loves them because it's like, all right, you did Doom, and then you did Rocket League, and you did Wolfenstein, and they're all like really like not necessarily big Switch games, but because like those games, I
think they're very like fan centric. They sometimes kind of to their fault, they might talk too much about what they're working on before they should. But I guess it's like
and Gone Home, like even though it's like like this amazing experience, I imagine most people would be into that would be like, I played it on a PC.
Yeah, or it was free on PlayStation Plus, and I think it's probably been free on Xbox Live, and it's probably been in numerous Steam sales and Humble bundles. And honestly, the thing that put me off was like, they're charging $15 for it. Ooh. And you're like, it's like steep for a game that I would say, like you said, the majority of people have already played. They already know the kind of like hook at the end, like, and they already know you can beat the game in like 10 seconds or whatever it is if you want to do it like that. So maybe it came out a little bit expensive. Like, I understand it costs them money to port it and to like get it working on the Switch, and maybe they've paid for an external developer to do the port for them. But still, even like games like you say, like Warframe or Fortnite are like the biggest games in the world. They were still kind of, they were done in directs to be like, okay, it's free right now, everyone go play it. Whereas I think, for them, even if they didn't have a direct, if they just released it on the eShop, people would see it, screenshot it, go to Reddit, go to Twitter, and be like, "Oh my god, everyone go download Fortnite." Whereas these games, sadly, I don't think they have that pull. So it just kind of makes me wonder if smaller indies should do it, because again, like this one, like I'm reading the synopsis, and like I said, the art style looks really cool, but like I said, so far you're playing a hero saving a princess from an evil lord who wants to marry her. You're like, okay, that's just the Mario Odyssey story. The Switch version, now you can choose what difficulty you want, and there's like a developer documentation. Like, okay, that's nice, I guess, if maybe you're a fan of the game, but I guess I've forgotten what my point was going to be now. But it's nothing that sets it out from another 2D platformer that's on the Switch already, or is coming to the Switch, and that maybe has sent review codes out to people like us, or to bigger review sites, and at least people can then go, okay, this game's been released today. Like, let me look at the reviews. Or there's no reviews because it's a shadow release. No one knew it was coming. So it's like, again, that kind of like hurts the game, as like, okay, it's they've used this kind of marketing quirk to get it in headlines, but then when people want to look for it, it's like, well, there's really no opinion about how good the game is and if it runs well on the Switch. So I just think that's kind of like an interesting story. Again, I'm always interested in like marketing techniques and how people market their games, and that's kind of why I put it in, because I think it's interesting. But I think sadly, like the time might have already passed for that kind of method in on the Switch eShop.
Yeah, definitely.
So story number 6 is I think a pretty cool story for us because we're big fans of Golf Story. Is that Golf Story devs add some cool new rewards to My Nintendo. So again, from Ryan Craddock at Nintendo Life. Sidebar Games, the developer and publisher behind sports-based RPG Golf Story, is celebrating the game's 1-year anniversary on Switch by offering an exclusive prize from My Nintendo. Yes, having a quick break from the usual trend of sharing Wii U and 3DS games at discounted prices, the European My Nintendo store has updated with a single but special exclusive gift. And he goes on to say, yeah, if you don't have an EU account for the Switch, just set one up because it's easy and free. So if you have 50 platinum points spare, you can treat yourself to a super snazzy wallpaper for desktop or smartphones. So yeah, I put this in. I think it's cool. We're finally seeing like a modern use for our platinum points. Basically, yeah, Sidebar Games created a wallpaper that you can use for your smartphone and desktop. If I describe the wallpaper, it's like light blue with some icons on it, which I guess are like probably from the game. I can't really see it that well. There's the Golf Story logo in the bottom, and then there's like a nice piece of key art of like your character hitting a golf ball. That's like kind of like cartoony.
His quiff is like
like
Uber Morrissey, but like giant.
Yeah, it's like Morrissey / Elvis / it kind of looks like the bill of a duck-bill platypus.
It is like defying gravity.
Yeah, like it's really sticking out. And like you said, they're an Australian game, so maybe they've gone for the platypus look with his head, with his hair. Yeah. Do you ever buy anything on My Nintendo? Do you ever use any of your platinum?
I did back in the when I had a DS.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's just been nothing that I've wanted.
Yeah, so... I've downloaded the odd wallpaper off there, but yeah, I don't really play the 3DS anymore. I never had a Wii U, so yeah, I kind of just count ourselves lucky that they let us use our gold points in the eShop, because I could see them being like, oh yeah, you get these gold points from Switch games, but you can only use them to buy Wii U or 3DS games. So I kind of just happy with how that is on the eShop. But yeah, I just thought that was a cool little indie story. It's nice to see that it's an indie game. It's kind of like the first one to kind of do it, the first Switch game.
I think I might actually grab the desktop wallpaper. It looks nice. Yeah, I think I need a new one for my Mac. So
yeah, same here. I'm using like the original Sierra mountain. Like it looks like a nice mountain, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, I think I'm going to pick it up too. And the final story today, I just realized I've been counting all the numbers wrong, but this is story number 8. Is Jack Quest: The Tale of the Sword is announced for Switch. So fast-paced action platformer Jack Quest will be coming to the Switch later this year. The game stood out for me because of its beautiful pixel art style and its fast action-packed looking combat. And I actually sent a reply for like a review code for the game. So if you want to see me play the game, go tweet at Blowfish Studios and tell them you would like me to review it. Here's a quick synopsis of the game. It says, one fateful night when young Jack takes the beautiful Nara for a walk in the woods, his love is kidnapped by the villainous orc Korg. Forced to mount a rescue, Jack plunges into Korg's underground base, where he happens upon a strange blade that becomes an unlikely ally. So yeah, this one kind of stood out for me, like I said, because the art style looks really cute. Like it's kind of like an 8-bit / 16-bit NES art style, really colorful. Animation looks cool. The guy's sword looks awesome. It kind of looks like Cloud's sword from Final Fantasy VII. Like it's just like this huge like block of a sword, and this really cute little guy using it. So yeah, it looks good. The combat looks really fast, kind of like Dead Cellsy. Very fast paced. Like I guess it's not. I guess it's like an RPG. So I don't think there's any roguelike aspects to it. But the combat did look really cool. The enemy sprites look really nice as well. And yeah, it just looked like a cool game.
The kind of amount of detail actually in the game looks quite similar. Like I think Dead Cells would be a good comparison graphically.
Yeah. Like that's what I was thinking. Is like it is pixel art, but you know, it's very like like you said, detail. Like there's like shade into the characters and
it's like very modern, like modern pixel art.
Yeah, and I think for me that's kind of. I know like a lot of people say the market's kind of saturated with pixel art at the minute in indie games, but when it's done so well, like in Dead Cells and like Jack Quest looks like, that's definitely my favorite kind of art style for indie games. I'm trying to think of other good examples. Like Golf Story is a good example.
Owlboy,
yeah, Owlboy is like a really beautiful looking game. What else?
I'm trying to think. SteamWorld Dig 2, was that more pixely or less pixely? I can't remember.
Less. Yeah, it was more kind of cartoony.
I'm just thinking of like colors.
Yeah, it was definitely bright, like really bright and really well. I really love the lighting in SteamWorld Dig 2, especially because it's all underground and the way they use the lighting from like, especially in like is it like the grove? You know where the kind of toxic waste has grown and then all the plants have grown there. So definitely one to look out for. And like I say, it'd be cool if some of you could tweet at what they call Blowfish Studios, and maybe then they'll put me on the press list and maybe we'll get review codes for it. So yeah, that was the news. Like I say, I feel like there's not been that much news, but that seems to have taken a little bit of time. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
We love a tangent. That's the news. We love tangents.
That's definitely it. Yeah, this what's always nice about having a guest on is that you do start having random video based conversations. You know, sometimes it's not video based, but video game based. But yeah, it's always nice. So we'll go on to section 2, which is our conversation portion. Last week we talked about Nintendo Switch Online. We had some people that didn't agree with us on what we were saying, which is fine. Like it's always nice to have a conversation. But this week we're going back to talking about what we've played this week. And as most of you know, Thursday, was it Thursday or Friday? The Fortnite Season 6 was released.
Or
was it Wednesday?
No, it's Thursday.
28th.
I was like,
Thursday,
we played. Oh no, was it Friday? It was Friday.
It's Thursday. No, what day is it today?
We played some Fortnite.
We played Fortnite. Yeah, we played on Tuesday night.
Oh, we're so good at this podcasting.
No, it must have been Wednesday. We played on Wednesday night, and then Thursday was the update. Season 6 came out. We were trying to grind. Battle Pass stars so we could get as much loot as we could, because I think we kind of both were in the same boat, right? We played a lot of Season 5. And then for me, at least, Season 6 started and I played it for a few hours. And then...
we played a lot of Season 4.
Season 4.
It's Season 6 now. So then we played a lot of Season 5 at the start. And then we didn't play it for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's Season 6.
6. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so now it's Season 6.
There's too many seasons.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we played Season 4, basically the season with like the superheroes. We played a lot of, and then Season 5 was the Viking and the Drifter, and yeah, that we played a little bit at the start, and now we're back in Season 6. So tell me what level Battle Pass are you at?
Oh man. I played it last night. I played a whole bunch last night trying to complete some of the challenges. I think I'm about 18, 19.
Okay, nice. I'm still on 5. Like I played 2 rounds of like the 50s v 50s last night, just because I was trying to get like the shields one, just because I thought I was basically taking a grenade and a shield, healing to 100%, throwing a grenade, standing away from it, letting it hit me, then just shielding up again, throw a grenade, and doing it over and over, because there's so much loot on the floor. Like it's really easy to find.
Oh, it was the camp. Have you got to unlock the campfire?
Not the campfire. No, not yet.
I had to go on the 50s to get that. So you have to heal 150 health. So it took me 3 games. Well, it took me a lot of games because I couldn't find any campfires. And then I was making a platform like really high and then jumping off it and then hitting the ground so I take damage. And then doing a campfire
to heal yourself. Yeah. Like I think the first... Go on.
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, also there's one for supply drops as well. I think it's the second part. Yeah, so it's one of the multi-stage ones.
Yeah.
And then I was that guy where I had to get one left and someone was just waiting next to the thing, like where it was going to land. And then it landed on their head and they couldn't get it. So I just ran in and grabbed it. Yeah. Nice. I was just like, I'm that guy, but... I got my points. So cheers, mate.
Yeah, exactly. I know. That's it. Like I think I like this week's challenge because I think they're all like attainable. Like I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't play last season, because I thought the week one challenges were really hard. And I was like, okay, I'll just wait until all the challenges are there, and then I can just pick and choose the ones I want to do, which is what we were doing on Wednesday night. You know, like looking for the treasure maps, looking for the jigsaw pieces. But this one, yeah, I like that there's like multi-leveled ones, and I like that they're pretty like attainable right now. Like we'll see what happens in the future.
There's one that's not.
Or which one's that one?
So after the supply drops, you have to get a llama. And then okay. I haven't seen any llamas at all.
I got one last night when I was playing the 50s, but that's annoying because now I feel like I'll probably won't see one for like 20 games, and I'll just be running around and but that's fine. I guess like they don't want you to do it. I guess that's the point of these multi-level ones, is like they don't want you to do it all in one night. So it kind of reminds me of Pokemon Go, where I was one of the field researchers. I was looking for a Ditto. And like Dittos, they don't spawn on the map; they spawn as other Pokemon. So you basically have to catch other Pokemon and hope one of them turns into a Ditto. And I must have gone like maybe 7 or 8 weeks looking for this Ditto. Eventually found one, and then like 2 days later, I caught 2, like pretty much in a row. I was just like, oh my god, come on!
When you're waiting for a bus.
Yeah, waiting for. No, I was walking to work, I think, when I caught it. But I was going to ask: have you started playing on PlayStation since the crossplay, or are you still playing on the Switch? Fortnite?
Still on the Switch, just because it's there, and I don't want to play against PC people. I think our Instagram just ran out.
Yeah, that's annoying. So we're back. We just had our annual Instagram video ending and our annual toilet break. So
annual. We're only allowed to go toilet once a year.
Yeah. Or annual, I mean like in the show, once every show. What would that be? Our weekly toilet break, I guess then?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough. Weekly. Yeah, that makes more sense. So we're really enjoying Fortnite. If any of you guys want to play it with us, just hit us up in Discord or on Twitter. But please, don't play music down the microphone or scream random things or, swear, because we're just trying to have a good time and we don't want random people
bursting our eardrums.
Or we had one, you said that it's like some kid was screaming down his mic and then his mum came in and screamed at him, and that's just the joys of multiplayer games, I guess, in 2018. So have you been playing any other games this week? Any other?
So actually I finished a couple off. Which is quite nice for my backlog. So Blossom Tales, I finished last Sunday.
Nice.
So that is actually now finished on the YouTube channel. So that the last episode went up yesterday, which was Friday.
Yep.
So I'm really happy. That game was awesome, and I really enjoyed it. The last boss was super fun. And I've just got nothing but great things to say about Blossom Tales. Like, if you like Zelda, then you're probably going to love it. If you just want to play like a pretty chilled and not too stressful game, then it's really good, and it's just a good time. And then go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I love Blossom Tales too. Like I've been watching some of your videos, and I should go back and play that game.
Yeah, it's just like it's just like a love letter to Zelda, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it just makes you feel
and it's
nice.
done really well, and it kind of scratches the nostalgia itch, where then it makes you want, like, I wish we had the old school like Link to the Past on the Switch. So hopefully we'll get it one day, but until then, I think Blossom Tales is a good substitute for it.
No, it was super fun. Then the second game I finished off was Banner Saga 2.
Nice.
So I really enjoyed Banner Saga 1, and then Banner Saga 2, essentially kind of all the bits that weren't so great about Banner Saga 1, like the enemies are a little bit repetitive. So each encounter is not necessarily the same, but it was quite similar. They kind of like shook it up, so there's different like factions you fight in the second one as well.
Okay.
And then some of the abilities are a lot more different as well. So it's kind of like your variation in the people you are or you control is greater. So
Yeah.
it was really, really fun. Like it was just, I really liked the first one, and then the second one just like took it up like a notch, like a really good sequel does. So.
And what because all I ever hear about the Banner Saga is the story. Like, what did you think of the story?
Yeah, the second one, like more in the first one, stuff happens, and because it's quite it's like the first act, like a lot of stuff's not explained, so you're just like, what's happening? Like I can see it's cool, but you're just like, what is actually happening? And then there is events that like change like things, and you're like, oh crap, like I really like that character, but I made a choice and now they're not, you know, like they leave or leave more permanently kind of thing. But like, and it's just like sometimes it's just you just make a normal choice, and they're just like, I don't like that. I don't like. Oh, I don't want to be around you anymore. I'm just going, kind of thing. And you're like, oh, but I really like their abilities in battle.
Yeah.
But then in the second one, you get like even more characters, and no, it's just and it takes your save from the first one, so all the choices you made like continue on. So you feel really attached to like the character. There's only once where I was just like, I was kind of acting how I thought my character would act, and then like another character was like, well, I'm sorry that we can't be friends anymore, kind of thing. And I was just like, no, you're my favorite. You're my favorite. So I was just like,
don't leave me.
Turn it off really quickly and like hope that it hasn't auto-saved and reloaded it. I was just like, yes, it didn't. And then so only once where I was just like, oh, I kind of, my love for a character won out over doing what I thought my character would do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, but I think it's cool that it makes you decide, like, okay, like you said, either you have to balance everything, I guess, balance your party, balance the story, and there are consequences if you want to make you want to make this decision because you feel like this is how your character is going to act, then the consequence might be like a character leaves or a character dies. I just wanted to ask as well, is it like, is the trilogy like one long continuous story, and like the games pick up straight after the first, like the second one does it pick up straight after the first one ends, or
yes. So the first one is chapters 1 to 7, I want to say, and then the next one is 18 to 15, and then I'm assuming I bought that Banner Saga 3, but I haven't actually played it yet. That's going to be like 16 to whenever the game finishes.
Okay, that's cool. I the more you talk about it, the more I'm like, I should play it. And like, roughly how long did it take you to beat Banner Saga 2? Because I know you've been playing it.
Maybe about 8 hours. It's not super long, but it's also, I guess if they're all like around that length, then like then it's going to be like around a 30-hour game, I would say.
Okay. Well, I guess it depends on how good you are at turn-based strategy games as well. Like,
you can change the difficulty on the fly as well. So if you're really struggling, then you can just be like, you know what, I just want to get through this and like play it for the story. But in the first game, there was a couple of battles where I had to retry. Actually, I think it was the final battle I had to retry a few times, but I just wasn't getting what it was telling me, and I was like, "Oh, I'm an idiot!" And it's like literally saying, "You need to do this," and I was like, "I just wasn't," or I just couldn't pull it off. But I eventually just did it on normal. So yeah, I mean, as long as the game teaches you how to play the game, and as long as you kind of pay attention, then you shouldn't really ever have to turn it down. You can make it hard if you want, but
yeah, that's kind of, like I said, I played a little bit of the first one, and that's I kind of saw it more like a puzzle game. Like every battle is a puzzle, and once you work out, okay, this is how I need to solve the puzzle, then instead of just brute forcing it, and because I guess ideally you don't want to like let your characters die, because then that affects the story. So it's like, okay, I need to play it this specific way to get through the battle and to get all my characters out, which I think is cool. So yeah, I think I'm gonna check out the how much it is on the eshop, because I think there's a trilogy on there. So
if you buy them singly, you get a discount. So if on this, if you owned one, then I can't remember what the discount was on 2, but if you owned 1 and 2, you get 40% discount on 3.
Nice. That's really cool.
Yeah, so if you're like, oh, I think I might like this, but I'm not 100% sure, then just buy the first one, knowing that you're going to get discounts on the sequels if you do like them.
That's good to know. I think that's a really nice a nice thing as well for the fans. Like, I guess the developers want to sell their games and get the fans to play. If it's one long story, get everyone to play the whole story. So giving a little bit of a discount is a nice incentive.
Yeah, it's kind of more episodic rather than it's almost like Banner Saga episode 1, 2, and 3 rather than like a kind of sequel. I guess like Walking Dead or like those kind of games.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I say, like it's one story, so they want everyone to play the whole story, not just the first third or the first act or whatever.
But yeah, if you play the first one and you're like, I kind of like it, but I'm not. There is like issues with it. Then the second game kind of like really works on those issues, and like it's a much better product. Yeah,
good. That's good to know. What have I been playing? I finished off, like I said, Hyper Light Drifter. Spoilers, I give it a 10 out of 10. Like, I was really, really, really like in love with the game, and when I first started, like I know I was talking last week, I didn't know if I was or not. It was it kind of, there was some things I liked, some things I really didn't like. But the more you play it, the better you get at the game, the more enjoyable it becomes, and the more you just want to like find everything. And you know, it's really like I said, the story is very it's like open to interpretation. But it's like the first game in a long time that's had me like Googling, okay, what does this mean? Okay. And I'm like reading like articles from the lead developer, and it's I think he's called Alex Pearson, and he's had a lot of problems with his heart all his life, and the stories about how you know, like dealing with these hurdles, and you can kind of see it in the story because, you know, he has like a heart sickness, and the drifter in the game has a sickness, and at the end the kind of iconography kind of points towards that, and like it's really, really cool game. I really, really, really liked it. I think it's the second one I've given a 10 to on the site. So yeah, check out the review on Thursday.
I love that when you like play a game or watch a film or read a book, and then you're like, I need to know more about the symbolism and stuff like that. And you're like, what does this mean? And then you read it, you're like, oh my God, yes. Like I was getting that vibe. And it's like, I just couldn't put words to it. And then it's like, oh, it means this. And or you read other people's interpretations. You're like, I wasn't quite getting that, but I do get this other thing that you're saying. And
you're like, oh, it makes sense. One example for me was Annihilation. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah. On Netflix? I totally had to like,
and at the end I was just like, what is going on? And then I felt like there was no good fan theories either, and it left me fan theories. But
I just Wikipedia'd all the books at that point and then read the story for all the books. I was like, oh, I'm never going to read these books now because I know everything that happens.
Yeah. And usually, like, I'm not one of who is into that kind of thing of being like, oh, the story's up to you. It's kind of like a poem, you know, like you read the words and you kind of make up your own ideas about what the poem's about. But usually I'm kind of too impatient to be that. I'm like, I just want you to tell me a story. Like, you're the creator. You deliver the story to me and I'll play through it. And then I'll have my impressions on what happens in the story. But no, for some reason, I just think it was so well done. It's so like beautifully presented, like the art style, that by the end, I was just like, yeah, I need to know more, and I need to know why. And it's really is like a piece of art, the game, I think. You know, like a lot of games, I guess you class video games as art, you know, the amount of work that goes into them. But this one is really like, you know, you can see it's someone's like, almost like their like life work, and they put so much into it, and it's so personal to them. And it's a really great game.
It's cool, like, I guess games are like films, right? So some films are like Transformers, and it's about explosions and stuff like that. And then there's other films that are like Apocalypse Now, and it's like trying to tell you something about humanity.
Yeah, exactly.
And like that is like a piece of art kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I guess same with movies, you know. Transformers, you'd say it's art because the CGI looks so amazing and like what they put on the screen, but the story is
Junk.
it's a Transformers story, yeah. And video games are the same. Like you get like games, I don't know,
Doom.
kind of like Doom, yeah, where
I love Doom, but
there's no story. The story of Doom is like kill monsters. You're like, okay, I can do that. But the way the game feels and the way the game looks is like a piece of art, and how Bethesda pulled it off. But then there are games like Uncharted where it's all about the story, and they have to like video game it up because they feel like they put in like these weird shooting sequences where Nathan Drake, he's this husband and thoughtful person, and they have this like relationship with Alana, but then all of a sudden the next scene he's like killing hundreds and hundreds of people, like murdering them, and you're like, it doesn't fit, but it's a video game, so it kind of fits. But it's definitely
spoilers, he's with Alana in the 4th game.
Yeah, is the name Alana? I think it's Alana or Elena.
I can't remember. I love her as a character. She's a great character.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, but so definitely if any of that sounds interesting, check out Hyperlight Drifter. And the second one I've been playing, I just started it, is Undertale. And again, this is like another one that it's like an indie game, but I think has a lot of like mythos around it. Like people are like, oh, you have to play Undertale because it's so like the story's so deep, and when you look at it, you're like, like it's a story about a girl that falls down into a well, and well, I don't even know. It's like a human falls down into the well. You can't really tell if it's a girl or a boy, and you basically fight monsters. But it's all about like I think there's like 3 ways you can play the game. You can play it as like a pacifist run where you don't kill anyone. You play it as like a genocide run where you kill everything, or you just play it as like a blind run where you just kind of play it how you want to play it. And I kind of started off because the game kind of tells you like, oh, you shouldn't, they're monsters, but they're like they're like human too, and they don't necessarily attack you. You just have like an interaction with them, and one of the options is fight, it's talk, or it's like item or flee. And so yeah, I'm kind of going down the pacifist run where you basically talk to them, and it's kind of like a little puzzle that you have to work out what you need to say to get them to let you spare them. So there's like one guy where he comes and he has this huge hat on, and he's kind of like text bubble. He's like, oh yeah, look at my hat, look at my hat. So at first you're like complimenting on the hat, and he's like, yeah, of course it's a great hat. Like, I know it's a great hat. Why are you telling me that? And then he attacks you. But then there's like one way you ignore it, and you ignore it, and he's like, why aren't you looking at my hat? Please look at my hat. And he gets so like self-conscious about it that in the end he gets like defeated, and then you can like spare him and let him go. So it's kind of like these little puzzles, and there's definitely like an Undertale there that I think something's going to happen, and it's going to be like really sad at the end, and they're probably going to make you decide. And there's like one bit where kind of like the bad guy in the story is like, oh yeah, right now you won't hurt anyone. You're choosing to talk, but will you, when it comes down to the real fight, will you talk or will you attack? Will you get so frustrated with just trying to talk all the time that you'll just attack out of frustration? So I'm like, yeah, I can kind of see what fight they're kind of alluding to, like with like the mother character in the game, and so yeah, I'm excited to see how it goes. I'm going to try and play at least the genocide run and the peace run before I review it, because I don't think the game's that long. Like I think it's probably like 3 hours per playthrough. So yeah, I'm excited, and apparently they say like you kind of not your progress, but the monsters kind of remember you from the next run. So in the peaceful run, if you do the peaceful run, then do the genocide run, then the monsters are like, oh my god, why are you hurting me? Why are you attacking me? Why are you doing this? Whereas if you do the other way around, in the second run is the peaceful run, they're like, oh my god, you're a monster, stay away from me. And then so yeah, it kind of has those aspects in it. So it's a really, really interesting game. And I think it was all made by one guy in like RPG Maker. So yeah, it's really cool. I'm really glad it's on the Switch, because it's a game I've been meaning to play for a long time and just never got round to it.
I think the Switch is a great home for those kind of games, as long as they actually get marketed and not just like surprise.
Yeah, true. And I think it's a perfect game to take with you handheld and just play, because the save points are pretty regular. Like I say, you can just play it on the way to work, or you can play it on a lunch break or whatever. And because it's quite short, I feel you feel like you're making a lot of progress. Like I'm trying to play it as slowly as I can, because I want to try and see if I can find all the secrets and all the items. But yeah, like I really like it. It's a cool game.
Cool.
So let's get on to the final section of this week's podcast, and that is our question section. Remember, you can submit your questions at switchindiefix.com/SIF podcast. Like I said, we have 3 questions this week. The first one comes from Chris, who is at Chris Unseen on Twitter. Chris asks, we all know the eShop needs a major overhaul. Quality titles get lost way too easily. Indie devs in particular are basically forced to put their games on sale or risk a certain dive into obscurity. This problem is only going to get progressively worse. What changes can be made to help these developers? So I guess we've kind of been talking about this earlier, and we were saying about the importance of marketing your game. Did you get a chance to put any think about the question, or do you want me to start?
Yeah, I think like developers, at first should help themselves. Like we were saying earlier, like they need to kind of like really actually do some marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I do think, actually putting your game in the hands of like reviewers like early, not just on the release day, and just be like, we want like a buzz. Like you need to kind of give like the game at least like a week earlier to like people, so they can like yourself, or like Mr. Panda who reviews games, or like different people, just so that like they can be some kind of like people talking about the game beforehand, and being like, this game's coming out on Friday, Thursday even. You should consider getting this game because I liked it because of these reasons. Or I mean, I know that can be bad. If the game is bad, then people will be like, it's a bit rubbish. But like if you're a developer and you worked on a game, you should have faith in your game, right? Like exactly. I know it's a risk, but like the whole point of making a game is a risk. Like doing anything, putting anything out there is a risk. Like us doing the podcast is a risk. People might be like, we hate this, and you're like, well, I had to do it to find out, right?
Yeah, exactly. You never know,
But then you get people who like it and like sending questions, and you're like, yes, like people actually, people listen,
like validate you. Like, there are people, you see the numbers tick up and people interacting with it, But I agree with you. I think a lot of it is trying to help yourself, and not just like, I think sending out reviews, but I think also sending reviews to the right people helps. And like, I'm not necessarily saying I'm the right person, but there's been times where I've messaged a developer and been like, oh, I really love the look of your game. I'd really like to review it. And they're like, oh, well, sorry, we only have a certain amount of review codes, and we want to send them out to the bigger publishers. And I'm like, okay, like I totally understand that, but there's no guarantee that those publishers are going to even review your game. Like there's a lot of people, like a lot of influencers who, probably get hundreds and hundreds of review codes sent to them on a weekly basis, and they never activate the codes. Whereas, people like us, like we have a lot smaller reach, but at least we have like an opinion, and it's an opinion that we can put on like Metacritic for them. So when people are looking to review the game, looking to buy the game, they can go to Metacritic and see, okay, the user count, or the user number, review code number, or whatever it is this high, and there's like people talking about it. And like I said, I don't necessarily think we're the right people to send them to, because we're like smaller content creators. But researching, the people at IGN, and be like, okay, I want to send it to IGN, so I maybe shouldn't just send a review code to IGNreviewcodes.com. I should look in IGN and be like, okay, my game's a Metroidvania. Okay, this person in IGN loves Metroidvanias, and they love like this kind of art style. So maybe I can like market it towards, okay, you should play my game because you will really like it. And it's kind of like we were talking about Shovel Knight last week, and they, I know they sent it to Colin Moriarty, who's like a big Mega Man fan and was at IGN at the time, a big PlayStation fan. They sent it to him, and he played it and loved it, and then that's how he spoke about it, and the word of mouth starts. But but yeah, I also think it comes down to like an accessibility thing on the eShop.
Yeah, definitely.
Because like now, I don't know, you could probably look now and there's probably 15 games that got released on there. Some of them indie, some of them third party. And when you have the eShop, really all you have to look at is like the icon, and you're like, okay, well, I go off the icon, and some of them look absolutely terrible. Like I think that's another key thing is like get your icon to look good. Like some of them look like someone's just put together a few PNGs in Photoshop with the title, and like there you go. So yeah, like I think that helps get a good icon. Obviously get a good description in the eShop. I've read some ones I used to do it on here, like look through them, and there's some really bad ones that have either been translated badly or they're just grammatically incorrect, which just puts people off. I guess like Nintendo could maybe do more, maybe like more features on indie games. Like if they had someone who is there and just their job is just to play like the indie games and kind of be like, okay, these are like this is my favorite one this week, or this is like the game of the day, kind of like they do on the App Store.
They do
like,
they do have like a game
they
of the
have
week, or like a featured section.
Yeah, they do have a featured section. You're right. Yeah, that's true. They do have a featured section.
I think it would be. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, like I feel like I just see the same games there all the time now.
Yeah, no, I feel
and you like
it needs to be updated a bit more frequently.
Yeah, like, and it's always like the obvious, like, oh, the indie game of the week is, I don't know, The Messenger, and you're like,
yeah, it's like,
okay, I know it is, like,
yeah, it was in a direct, and like,
yeah, and like there's huge media buzz around it at the minute, and it's getting all these like 10 out of 10s. So I think maybe if they were like, oh, here's a game, here's like a hidden gem or something, like to get people on.
I think if you could like just filter between like AAA or and like indie games, or like maybe like I know there's like a line that's like blurred between some games, but like Valkyria Chronicles or like Toad Treasure Tracker or like something like that, they're clearly like AAA or like big games, right? And then SteamWorld Dig 2, it's a massive game, but that's more of an indie game. So like if you could be like, okay, you know what, I really fancy like a big budget kind of like full experience, not to say indie games aren't full experience, but like, you know what I mean, like with like the big full studio scope, or I fancy something a bit more kind of intimate and like more like a personal, like a personal project, like SteamWorld Dig.
Yeah, I agree. Like I think the search features not great on the Switch. Like there's been times where I'm like, okay, I want to look for like a very specific game, and not specific in like, oh, I need to find this specific game, but like I'm like, oh, I want like an RPG, like a grindy RPG, and you can like, well, you can put in RPGs, but you can't really find, like you say, you put in RPG and like Skyrim comes up at the top, and you're like, okay, like yeah, I know Skyrim's there. I don't really want to play Skyrim, and then it's like, yeah, then it might be Xenoblade Chronicles 2. You're like, well, yeah, I don't really want to play that. Like I want to play something indie. So yeah, I guess it's hard. Like I know a lot of people say like they should limit how many games are released weekly, but I just don't think that works, because either way, you might, by limiting games that come out weekly, it's like saying the same as it's kind of like they're saying, oh, we should limit it only to good games. Well, what defines a good game? Like obviously a developer that is well known is likely to produce like a decent game. But then it's like saying, well, if we only let those developers that are well known release games weekly, then these smaller developers that might have a good game don't get a chance. So how are you going to know if they're producing good games? But then on the other hand, it's like saying, oh well, it's like 20 games coming out every week, and all the good games are getting missed because there's so much like.
I mean, could they stagger the releases like a little bit more? So like games come out on Thursday. Also, some games come out on like Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like, well, maybe if you just like, I don't know if you can or not, but like just release a game on Sunday, or like even it. So then you'll be at the top of the eShop thing, even if it's just for like one day, because at least you're gonna have like you're not going to be like 5 lines down like straight away. You'll just be like, maybe don't release it on Thursday, release it on Friday, or release it on Saturday. Like,
yeah, that's a good idea because I have no idea how it works. Like if they have to release on Thursday, or everyone just kind of congregates on Thursday because that's the release day. But yeah, you're right. There are some games that come out on Mondays or Tuesdays. Like I know a lot of on PlayStation, everything comes out on a Tuesday. But yeah, that might be a good idea to be like, okay, I'm releasing a game. I'm going to release it on a day no one else is releasing anything. So yeah, when you open up the eShop, my game's the first game you see. Yeah, I think it's definitely hard.
Like I imagine Thursday or on the PlayStation, like Tuesday, those days are picked for like a very specific and kind of like scientific reason.
Yeah,
but I mean, if you've got like an indie game, you kind of want to just buck the trend a little bit. I imagine if you were like releasing like a Mario game, then you definitely want to release it on the Thursday because you know that more people buy games on Thursdays. So then you definitely do that. But if you're just like a guy or a girl who like made a game in their bedroom, then you kind of like release it like on something that's a bit different, just to be like, so this game's at the top today because I happen to look at it on a Wednesday or whatever.
But it's true because I don't think Nintendo. I think they usually release on a like when Pokemon comes out, it comes out on a Friday, and a few other games. I think Mario came out on a Friday, and like so.
Yeah, I think it did actually.
There must be some reason, obviously, that everyone comes out on a Thursday. But there are like the odd example that you do see, or you're like, oh, this is new. I didn't know this was coming out today. But yeah, I think that's a good idea. So I think it's really like a mix of everything. Is like try and get hype or buzz about your game, try and market it to the right people, try and get like reviews of the game before it comes out, so people when they see it, they know, okay, I can look. I've got like an opinion about it. Try and make it look as appealing as possible for your thumbnail on the eShop. Have a good description so people know what the game is and what it's about, and then maybe try and do something a little bit out of the box and release it on a different day or a different time, so that maybe it's more visible when it is released. Because I think, like I say, a lot of people want Nintendo to change things, and I don't think Nintendo's going to change anything right now. Like they see indie games, like the good indie games are selling well. I think they see even the bad indie games are selling well, because they're always on sale or there's just so many of them and so many people that are still hungry for games on the Switch that people are just buying them anyway. Like it's always amazes me on Twitter when you see people and some of the games you buy and you're like, why did you buy that game? Like even if it's like 99 cents, you're like, okay, like really, if it's 99 cents, is it going to be worth the couple of hours that you put into it and what you could put into something else? But yeah, like maybe one day, hopefully it will become more, what's the word? Like not planned, but
considered.
There's a word for it. Yeah, like considered from Nintendo's end. But until then, I think as an do everything, try and get your name out there and try and get people to click on your icon. And again, like maybe that comes down to pricing too. It's like obviously you have to make money, but like Chris said, a lot of indie games come out at a discount, and I guess it's for a reason, because more people buy it when it's on the 10% discount than and yeah.
I mean, like I actually know a guy who works for, I mean, I don't want to out him. Let's just say like one of the eShops for one of the big players, and like the amount of time, well, any kind of like digital product, it takes so long to get, especially in big companies, to kind of get like to do research and then do the design and then kind of like sell that to your stakeholders and then have the developers build that. And then like, but even like small incremental changes, and if they think it's going to hurt the bottom line, then they're not going to change things. Yeah. So like that, even if we were like, right, Nintendo, this is obvious, you need to change something. Like these changes will be like 6 months in the process. Like it probably took them like 6 months to like have like a featured thing in there, because they were probably like, if we drive people to featured, would it make people not look at like the sales section or and it took so long to have a sale section, and like or people not look at what's new, and like it seems so obvious, but like so much kind of research and like
it probably goes through so many people. Someone has an idea, they go to their boss, and then their boss goes to their boss, and then he goes all up to the top, and then it has to come all the way back down, and
each person and each step is like going like, if this goes wrong, am I gonna be is it gonna be my fault? Am I gonna be stitched up for this? And like so like no one wants to be the person to pull the trigger, because if it goes wrong, then it's like, because of you we lost like £1 million or something, like over like a year, like because it wasn't as effective. So it's kind of like one of those, like when things are to do with making money and in a like a giant corporation like Nintendo, then like nothing's ever going to be simple or easy.
Yeah, I know. That's like the opposite, I think, with like Steam. It's like, you pay like a fee to be a developer, to develop on there, and that's pretty much it. You can put whatever you want on. But I think at least with Nintendo, like whenever I see indie devs, I see a lot of them with like pictures at like, especially the British ones, like at the Nintendo UK headquarters. So I get the feeling like there is some kind of like wall that they have to get through to get their games on the system. And like when you hear a lot of indie developers talk about it, like they say like Nintendo is quite like, is more difficult than other platforms to get games on. So it means like at least we get games that work and aren't just like a glitchy mess or an asset flip. So yeah, like I think it will change eventually. Like it will become more accessible for everyone, and hopefully like the cream rises to the top. The good games through word of mouth, through reviewers, through YouTubers, get kind of found out and called out. But yeah, until then, I guess you just got to do your best to make yourself visible in amongst all the other stuff that comes out around you. So we better get on to question number 2, because my phone's nearly out of battery. Mr. Panda writes in and says, "What's an indie game that's got a lot of hype but you didn't like?" Can you think of any games that you didn't like?
I wouldn't say don't like, but at the moment I'm not blown away by, and that's Hollow Knight.
Yeah, I would agree as well.
Like, there's something I'm kind of enjoying about it, but like, I put it down maybe about 2 weeks ago and I haven't gone back to it, and I'm like, I need to go back to this. I feel like it's more guilt that's making me want to go back to it.
Yeah.
Whereas like Dead Cells, I'm like, I really want to go back to Dead Cells. I just need to make sure that I've got like an hour to do like a solid run.
Yeah.
And like I'm planning in my head, like I don't want to have to stop halfway through. Like I definitely need to sit down for
your momentum and
and then like you got to pick that momentum up, but you're in a later stage, and then you're gonna just like die. So like I'm more thinking, I need like a good hour or so to play that, and I'm just trying to like set aside like an hour in my head. Whereas Hollow Knight, I'm kind of like it's, the music's beautiful, and it like the game's got like a real beauty to it, but I don't know if it's for me personally.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I think that's fine. Like
it's
not a bad game. I just don't think it's for me.
Like I think it's definitely like a long game. Like the more you play it, the more you get out of it. Whereas I think Dead Cells, it really is like, okay, I play a run, I die, okay, I'm into the next run. I get like the instant satisfaction of like the combat and like collecting the cells and upgrading your weapons or whatever. Whereas I think Hollow Knight, it might be a bit like it's a slower pace that you play for like 30 or 40 hours, and you kind of get the story and you get the like mystery of the game. But I think we're both like at that stage and like age in our lives where it's like, we have like the income to like buy these games, and it's a shame if they don't grab you, but you don't feel it. When you're a kid and you buy a game, you're like, oh, this game is terrible, but like it's the only game I'm going to get like this summer, so I have to play through it. And whereas now it's like, yeah, the game's not terrible, but it's not for me, and I'd rather play something else. And I think that's okay. Like I don't think you have to play every single game through to the end if you don't want to. Like if you play something, like it might be a bit annoying that you've paid like $15 for a game and you only play like 2 or 3 hours of it. But
I feel like
I think
there is a bit of guilt attached to that, though. Like, I feel like, there is people that can't afford to just be like, I'll just throw £15 away on an indie game or something. Whereas, so then I feel bad, and I'm like, I must enjoy this game. And then I think when I put that on myself, I like enjoy it even less because I'm forcing. It's like forced fun.
Yeah,
like you have to. You have to have fun. It's like when your work makes you go to bowling or something. You're like, I like bowling, but you're making me have fun. And I don't want to have fun. Like, I choose when I have fun.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know. Like, you're right. Like, it is kind of like not like an elitist thing to say, but it is kind of like the first one. Oh, I bought this game and like, I don't like it, but I have to play it. I feel like I have to play it. But I don't know. For me as well, like, and for both of us, like, we have to create content for other people. And it's kind of like, okay, do I want to spend like all this time playing a game I don't like, or would I rather play like something I enjoy and like then play more of it and then get more like view out quicker? And it's like I really hope like one day or 1 week I'll have time and I'll be like, oh, I'm in the mood for Hollow Knight. I want to play Hollow Knight today, and I just play it and it gets its hooks in me. I like there have been times where it has been like that for me, where I've been like, oh yeah, I played it for like 2 hours straight and I'm like, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. But it is a game that you can stop and put down and then just forget about, which might not be to its like credit, you know. It might be like that's like kind of the problem is I have no like real desire to go back. Whereas like with Dead Cells, you're like, okay, I got really far on this run, I beat this boss and then I died, but like I know what I need to do for the next run to get a little bit further. And it's that kind of like, you know, roguelike loop of like I'm getting better. I can see I'm getting better. Whereas Hollow Knight is kind of like you just always kind of like just slowly moving forward. Like, and then you get like a new ability, and you're like, oh, cool! Now I can unlock a new area, and you find a bench, and you're like, oh, I sit down at the bench, and then you just totally forget about the game and start playing something else. And but then you can go back to it and be like, okay, I'm in this area now. I can just go on from there. I did have another one. I can't remember. Not a game that I didn't like, but there's like a lot of hype about Celeste, and it's not a game that I really feel like I need to go and play. And like, I know people are like, oh my god, you have to play Celeste. It's like the best indie game on the Switch, and I'm like, yeah, it probably is, but I'm kind of like, but I just don't think it's like a game for me.
I find like when you had to have those really kind of exact platformy games, like I find that I get super anxious.
Yeah,
and like I feel like there's quite a lot of pressure, and I'm like, and then I don't kind of find that enjoyable. Like I'm sure it's an amazing game, but because I just don't like the way they make me like feel, because I'm not that great at platformers. Like if I was playing Call of Duty or something and it got to like a hard bit, then I can kind of like deal with that a bit better. But it's kind of like, I don't know, I just find like platforming sometimes like a little bit difficult to be like to be so exact. So like with something like Mario Odyssey, like that game never really got like too hard. Like just playing through the normal game, like the end game, it kind of gets like quite difficult, but like just playing it normally, it wasn't like insane. So but that game just looks like you have to like with the mid-air dashes, and so I'm just like, I don't think that game's for me. Like it looks amazing, and I wish I could enjoy it like other people do, but I just
well, that's it, because I think what people say is like it's the story that makes it so enjoyable. Like it's like a very like it, even though it's a pixelated game, like it's a very like mature and grown-up story about like, you know, overcoming yourself and your self-doubt and stuff like that, which kind of ties in with the game of being like, oh, I can't do this level, I can't do it, it's too hard, and then all of a sudden you pull off like a great jump and you're like, oh yeah, I finished, I actually did it. And I think that's like kind of what makes it so special. But it's just a game where I'm like, I can appreciate it, and I do want to play it, but there's just a lot of other games that I'd rather play before, because I know I'll enjoy them more, and I know like I'll get a lot more out of it because I enjoy it than just playing through it because I know it's a good game.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I don't like. It's not that I don't like it. It's just that I just know it's not exactly for me. And you know, I appreciate and I like seeing other people play it and talk about it because I like seeing other people getting enjoyment out of the game. But yeah, there's just other things I'd rather play.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, as always, Kool-Aid writes in for the last question, and it says, "Has a Let's Play done by another YouTuber buy an indie game that you originally were not considering purchasing?" So the easiest example for me was actually your Skies of Fury Let's Plays. Like I didn't buy the game. I got a review code for it, but yeah, I was like saw it on the eShop and I was like, yeah, this looks cool, but not for me. And then I was watching you play and talking to you about it, and I was like, yeah, now I really want to have to check it out. Did you have anyone in mind that?
Yeah, I did, but I really wish I wrote this down because now my mind's gone completely blank.
Oh. Okay, well, I'll give you a minute to think about it because the guy that I always watch and have watched for like I'm a guy called Northern Lion, and he kind of his bread and butter is like indie games, and his channel got big because he played a lot of he plays The Binding of Isaac, and he does a lot of well, I'd say like it's like probably like 80% to 20% indie games on his channel, and he does a lot of these. He has like this series called Let's Tries where I guess he just he gets sent codes and doesn't want to make like a series out of the games, but he tries them for like an hour and plays through a lot of indie games. And there's like so many indie games that I've bought because of him, because he's a PC player. So usually they get the games first, and I've been waiting for them to come to Switch. So like Hollow Knight he played. What other games? There's like so many. There's like that many now. I can't even think of them. Undertale, I watched it, like that was the first place I watched him. Someone play Undertale. What else has he played?
I'm just gonna look at my Switch now to see what's on there.
Maybe I should do that because my library probably helps. Because yeah, pretty much anything he plays and it comes to Switch, I play as well. So let me have a look. Okay, I'm still in Fortnite. So Undertale he played. Okay, and of course now my thingy's sticking, so I can't do that. Yeah, he was the first person I ever watched to play Paladins. Minute. We said Hollow Knight.
Oh,
I saw West of Loathing.
SteamWorld Dig 2 was mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who did you see, or which YouTuber was that?
I think they were talking about it a lot on MVC, and then I'm not actually sure the YouTube. I just like kind of Googled it. Mm-hmm. And just like kind of watched just like a bunch of random, random ones. Like I generally kind of watch the more Let's Plays I watch are generally like PC games. Yeah. Only because like at the time I didn't have a PC, so it was kind of like games that I would play if I had time and had a PC, but couldn't. So I watched my friend Light of Hands. He does like a series of Frostpunk, which is like that kind of city building in a like post-apocalyptic kind of like frozen planet kind of thing. So like I was really really into watching him play that, and like also it's kind of funny because he's my friend in real life, and watching him like stress out about like these Victorian frozen problems, which was pretty fun. But yeah, I haven't actually got around to playing like buying that game yet because it looks like it's like, you know, a really in-depth game, and if I did that, the YouTube channel would stop. But yeah, like I'm also looking at Flame in the Flood was another one that I watched. I watched a bunch of PC Let's Plays because I bought it when it came out on the Switch. Yeah. But it's already been out on the PC for quite a while, so I kind of wanted to.
So you got it for like tips and.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to see what the game was all about. Like I heard about it like through Twitter, and like news sites and that kind of thing. And then I was just like, oh, this sounds interesting. I want to see it being played. And then through watching like random YouTube videos, then that kind of like got me like really into it. Although I generally watch Let's Plays of like just kind of, if I'm watching it on the Switch, just games that I know that I won't buy because I don't have time to play them.
Yeah, that's a good Good point. Yeah,
Like-
I'm the same as you. Like I usually watch like I say a lot of PC players because again I have a Mac, so most PC games I can't play. But yeah, like sorry, what I've just had a mind fart. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, like Stardew Valley, like I don't have the time to like sink
Yeah,
like
that's right, yeah.
like hundreds of hours into that game. So like if I kind of feel like I need that kind of thing,
Yeah.
I will just find someone and just like watch like a couple of like hours of like that. Just have it on in the background when I'm working, and just be kind of like every so often just look over and they'll be like, oh yeah, they've got corn on their farm now, or like or whatever. And it's like so it's I usually generally watch like let's plays of games I either can't play for a reason or just don't have the time to play, so I'll just watch someone else do it.
Yeah, that's just the same for me. Like, yeah, I was like looking through. Like, he also played Our Boy, Death Road to Canada. What else? Vostok Inc. So yeah, like if you like indie games and you want to kind of see what's coming out, like what's probably going to be coming to the Switch in the future, you should check out his channel, Northern Lion. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. But what was I going to say? I've totally forgotten now. Anyway, so yeah, so that's the YouTubers we watch, and yeah, of course, there's other people like Mr. Panda. His reviews, I always like watching his reviews, and because they're usually not for the games he plays. I are really usually not for me, but I like seeing his like because most of them I see pop up on the eshop. I'm like, I wonder what that is, and a lot of him he reviews, and I'm like, I really like watching his seeing his ideas on it, and I'm like, oh yeah, it looks like a cool game. Like I'm not going to buy it, but it's nice to see someone's idea or someone's feelings about how the game is.
He's really sold me on the idea of getting Broken Sword.
Yeah,
like I'm thinking that might be like a purchase, and I'm like, I'm not sure. Do I want to play a point and click as a let's play, or do I want to play that just kind of like on my lunch break? And I'm like, it's been a while since I played a point and click.
Yeah,
and like I do enjoy them. Like I really liked like the Discworld games on the PlayStation. Like I really love Discworld 1. That was like one of my favorite PlayStation games on like around like release. And but yeah, I'm just not very good at those games. So I'm like, if I play it online, is it like gonna just be a lot of like me with like a screw face being like, I don't know what's happening, I'm angry now because I can't get the square in the round hole or something. And like
I think they're like really good games you could stream, because if you have people in the chat, you know, like it kind of helps you. If you get a backseat gaming, then you know, you kind of like makes it a little bit less frustrating.
You can cheat.
but it's like, you know.
Although Mr. Panda in his review did say that there is like a hint system, so like if you're kind of going to be there for a while, then you can be like, okay, get the hint, and then I think by the end they pretty much be like
draw a circle around what you need to click on.
This thing.
That's what I need. I played Day of the Tentacle and one called Lost Acre, and after about 30 minutes I was like googling, okay, let's play Lost Acre, let's play Day of the Tentacle, 100% run kind of thing, and they're not games for me. So I guess we'll round up the show there. So
I just wanted to come back to the online stuff from last week. So I actually picked up online yesterday. And mostly, so this is like the most boring reason for buying online. I filled up my SD card, so I filled up like the 126 or whatever it is,
really?
24.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, and I went on Amazon and I saw a 200 one for £40. So I was like, right, I'm gonna buy that.
Oh, nice.
And so I spent ages copying all my stuff to my PC, and then copying all that from my PC to the new SD card. So I was like, okay, in case like my save data, like something happens, I need to have all of this backed up. So I went and backed up. I bought the online for that, and then I was like automatic backups. And I was just looking at it and it wasn't backing anything up. So I had to go through all of them
Oh, no
individually
way.
and be like, back up, back up, back up.
Uh,
Maybe I wasn't being patient enough. Maybe it needs to do it overnight or something. I don't know. So I did that. And then I stuck in the new SD card into my Switch, and it didn't. All the data didn't transfer properly or something.
Oh, no way.
So then I had to format the card and then download all of my games again.
Oh,
so
really?
like my Switch has been on like overnight, just downloading like it's like 50 games on there. I didn't download all of them in the end. I was just like, I'm kind of done with that game. I don't need it to have it on my Switch.
Yeah.
But so my Switch has been like on for about 24 hours just downloading games or playing Fortnite. So yeah, I got online just for cloud saves, just in case I somehow broke my Switch when I was swapping my SD cards. Which it sounds like it was probably a good idea. I did that just in case because the stuff didn't transfer.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I guess you were kind of like it was the right time to get it. I guess if you're transferring stuff over and copying stuff, and if it all gets corrupted or whatever, and I couldn't imagine how like annoyed I'd be if I was like putting in a new memory card and all of a sudden all my saves and games had got deleted off.
Yeah.
But that's the Nintendo Switch, that was the possibility a few weeks ago that you could lose everything all in one go just by changing a memory card.
So I haven't downloaded the NES games yet. Well, I've downloaded it, but I haven't tried any of them because I was downloading all the other games again. So
yeah. Okay. So, but next time you come on the show, you should be able to give us an impression of The Legend of Zelda. And
I'll be like, I don't like retro games. And then then I'll upset more listeners.
Nah, not upset. Just I don't know.
Oh, I did see Excite Bike is been released as an arcade archive.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
Which I thought Excite Bike was on the NES.
It is, but I don't know if it's like
so one's the arcade version.
Like the arcade version, yeah. I think that must be what it is. But then again, like there's like the arcade archive Super Mario Bros, and then there's like the one on the NES as well. Like both of them are on there. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just like Nintendo double dipping and been like
weird time to release it. Like you would have thought
Nintendo.
Well, yeah, Nintendo's gonna do what Nintendo do.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess people buy it, so yeah, why not if they can? So good. So thank you everyone for watching episode 11 of the Indie Fix podcast. Thank you, Stevie. Do you just want to tell everyone where they can find you?
Yep, I'm youtube.com/Age of Boredom, and I'm also at Age of Boredom on all the social medias that matter.
Awesome. And yeah, everyone should go over there, say hello to Stevie on YouTube. Go watch his Blossom Tales series. And if you want something to chill out to, check out his Captain Toad live streams. Chill. Oh,
yeah.
Stream? What do you call
it? So the first one I released with no cam and talking because I was a bit sick. And then the second one I released last week with like face cam and talking.
The cam, yeah.
And then my friend told me on Sunday, that video didn't have any sound. I was just like...
So maybe, maybe look out for the next episode of Captain Toad, where the sound's right.
So that was a bit of a face palm moment. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, you watching the first one where there was no cam? And he was like, no, the one you literally released. And I clicked it and I was just like, I'm so angry with myself. Like, why didn't I check this? Like, yeah, you
just assume. I guess that's just just hit my nose on my mic. That's just the being a streamer or a YouTuber, you just think everything's set up and then you press record and forget to check, and then all of a sudden you've got no sound or no video or yeah.
I mean, I'd rather it happened like there than one of my actual like full series. Like
and you had to go re-record it or something, that would have been annoying.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So definitely go check out Age of Boredom's Blossom Tale series. The podcast, as always, will go up on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. The VOD will go up on YouTube. So if you want to see us, what we look like, you want to see our cool Street Fighter and Zelda t-shirts, make sure you check out YouTube. We're going to go up as soon as I can get them up after the show. Stevie's going to do a little bit of editing for me, which is really nice. So we should have a really cool video today. And be sure, please, to subscribe and review wherever you can. Also, yeah, go check out Age of Boredom on YouTube and subscribe. If you want to get in contact with either of us, the best way is to go to our Twitters. Mine's at Switch IndieFix. Stevie's is at Age of Boredom, or you can go to our Instagram where it's the same at tag or whatever you call it. You can also join the Switch IndieFix Discord server. It's switchindiefix.com/Discord. Come say hello. We've been talking a little bit about, was it Bowser, Tingle, and who was the last one? Some other Nintendo kind of second-class character. So, yeah, if you want to talk about Nintendo and indie games, make sure you check us out there.
That's also
like I said,
a really great place to talk to us as well, because we're both, well, obviously you're active because it's your Discord, but
yeah,
like,
but we're both in there a lot. So yeah, just go and come and join us, talk to us. We talk about other normal stuff as well. We have a general chat, we have a games chat, we have a self-promotion chat. So if you're a YouTuber or a content creator, you can kind of plug yourself in there as well. It's really cool because a lot, like we were talking about before, a lot of our viewers and followers follow us both, so they kind of we're all in the same ecosystem, which is really nice. And yeah, just make sure you check out the Hyperlight Drifter review on Thursday, and keep an eye out for this possible giveaway I'll be doing hopefully over the weekend or next week for Jack and Jill DX. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and we will see you all not next week because I'm back in England next week, the week after, so 2 weeks from now. Thanks.
Cool. Thanks very much. Bye.